Welcome to the Secret Underground Laboratory Recovery and Salvage, where rude mechanicals do magic. Powder post beetles are a nuisance. Termites are a problem. But for real destruction, you can't beat upholstery tackworms. Hello, I'm Bronze Age, Director of the Secret Underground Laboratory Recovery and Salvage, and welcome to another episode of Chair Hospital. Today's patient is actually a very nice chair. I assume that it's made with mortise and tenon joints here, maybe dowels, but since none of them are broken, don't really know. The general motif is Egyptian revival with these little round turn pieces and the bent wood kind of imitating ox horns, who can say. And we do have this really cute little applique. Now this is a separate piece of wood that's been cut out and very carefully glued into a recess made to the exact same shape as the cutout. A couple of different words for it. Could be called marquetry, applique, whatever you want. But it's a pretty little maiden in a long dress with a garland of flowers. Not exactly Egyptian, but you know, what can you say? We've also got the panel is framed in more of the inlay. Even though it's not marked made in Italy like I've seen on many other chairs, it's got the exact same construction with these two knee braces in the back here, nailed in place with wire nails. That would date it late 1800s up to whenever. Chair technology has not changed all that much, and there's really nothing to give away any sort of a date or age. The only clue that this chair is probably fairly old, 100 years old at least, maybe, is the fact that it has been upholstered so many times there's no place left to put new upholstery tacks. Now the top 3/4 inch of the chair rails here are intended to hold the tacks for the upholstery. And this poor chair has been upholstered so many times, there's just nothing left. And that's what we're here to do, is to restore this tacking edge so this chair can go back in somebody's house. First thing to do is to try and get as many of the staples and tacks, at least as many as I can find. There's always some kind of weird hardware in an old chair. It's been worked on. I have found broken nails, broken screws, and broken drill bits. And as a result, I like to use my metal detector. Although I have to be honest with you, I just can't bring myself to trust them completely because it has not found some small piece of metal many times, even though it certainly sees all these. Now this looks suspiciously like powder post beetle damage. And I do see a little bit of traces on the outside here. But most of this came from a multitude of staples and tacks. Now I've gotten out all the staples, at least those I could see. But there are still quite a few broken off nails, probably original to when the chair was new. Now I think I'm down to one nail. And the best way to find out exactly where it is with a rare earth magnet. The plan is to cut this surface here down flat with a router, and that brings up two problems. I've got to have some way to guide the router so I don't eat up the chair, and I got to have some way to hold the chair still while I'm doing that. I'm going to be using a router with a guide bushing in the base, and the cutter is actually a little more than 1/8 of an inch from the outside of the guide. Now to give the router bushing something to ride on, I've got this board with a straight edge, and it's got a cleat on the back. It's going to go against the bottom right here, and that's going to control the depth where it goes. Now to give me a little bit of fine adjustment, I've got a piece of hardboard as a shim, and that should give me about 1/8 of an inch or so, so that my router bit is going to ride right above the finished surface. I can clamp this in place. Now the critical point about this kind of a piece is that it can't move when you're using it. Routers have the ability to destroy lots of wood in a very short period of time. So to keep it from sliding down, I got C-clamps with soft jaws on them. Once this is nice and tight, there's no way this can move down. And the last piece, I got to give the router bushing something to stop on, or else it's going to cut my chair in half. And that would be very bad. Now I've got the chair clamped down to the sawhorse, and this is actually the second pass because sometimes that happens. If you see any sparks, that will be staples and nails that I didn't find. On the left side, the nailing edge has been repaired one time before. A strip of wood has been put in with these longer nails. And if I could find the rest of them, then I could get this out without having to pry out all the tacks. But that's going to leave lots of staples still down here in the bottom. I might not need to take them out though, because this is how I'm going to do the final repair. And if I don't have to run the router down this piece here, that's pretty good right now. This does expose the mortise and tenon joint though, so that's one mystery that's been solved. Chair repair seems to call for an infinite number of these little adapter blocks for clamps. And even though I've got enough to probably fill a couple of 5-gallon buckets, there never seems to be one that will work exactly for what I'm trying to do. Now both the magnet and the metal detector swear there's no more metal left in this piece. So we'll see about that. This front piece has got a slight curve to it, so my flat router guide won't work. What I've done is just taken a board and traced the curve and cut it out. I'll fit it up on here and get it clamped in place. That'll be the last bit of surgery I've got to do on this piece. One thing that makes this job a little bit easier is all of this new work is going to be covered up with upholstery. So it doesn't have to be particularly pretty. It just has to be strong enough that it can hold down staples and tacks. Now that I got this piece cut out, it's nice and flush, fits really good, smooth across the front here. It's going to be secured with hide glue and a couple of screws. And I'll go around the other 3 sides, and this job will be finished, ready to go back to the upholsterer. I think this is going to do well, and it'll be off to the upholsterer tomorrow. This is Bronze Age for the Secret Underground Laboratory Recovery and Salvage, and I thank you for sitting through this video on this chair repair. And we really appreciate it if you would click the thumbs up button, subscribe if you hadn't already. If you have any questions, comments on anything from chair repair, lighting repair, I answer them all. So again, thank you very much.